Hi, this is Rich with No2. We have the pleasure today of visiting with Ron Gillis of Xerox from the Carolinas. We're going to chat a little bit today about the Xerox Healthcare MFP. Welcome, Ron. Can you take a quick minute and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hey, Rich. Sure, thanks. My name is Ron Gillis. I'm a senior account executive with Carolina Office Systems in G5. They're owned by Xerox here in North Carolina and South Carolina. I started with Carolina Office Systems in March of 2020 after spending about 21 years with a previous employer in the same industry. Overall, I started in the industry back in 1991, so I've been kind of doing this for a while, Rich.
You and me both, Ron. We've been a couple of salty dogs here in the industry.
Yep.
Hey, Ron, with some of the success that you've had recently, what would you say are some of the highlights of the Xerox Healthcare MFP?
Rich, it's a technology. It's something that we have. Xerox has that none of the other manufacturers have the full functionality. And as salespeople, we're always looking for that. What do we have that our competition doesn't have? And this is what we have. So it's a great product. I'm really excited about it. When I'm meeting with customers and talking with them, one of the first things that they always talk about is just how reliant in healthcare they are on fax. They just needed to share PHI amongst the community of care. So I kind of let them talk a little bit about that, about the fax, just how much they send, how much they receive. And one of the things that almost always leads to is they get really frustrated with the amount of lost referrals that they get, because these faxes are coming in paper form. It's sitting on the output tray of the MFP. And users are users. They come up, they look for their stuff. If it's not there, they just take it and they set it aside. And these faxes get lost. Lost referrals are lost revenue for these organizations. So they're very, very frustrated by it. Another challenge that they have is that, getting this patient records into their EHR. Typically, they'll have, maybe one or two people, sitting at the front desk doing it, but, they would like the other people within the organization to be able to have that ability and flexibility to get those documents into the EHR. So that's another pain point that they have. And I will have to say the very first healthcare MFP I sold with Xerox was probably the easiest sale I've ever had in my life. I think, Rich, you and I have spoke about this. This was a head and neck injury center in Charlotte, and their largest referral partner happens to be the largest healthcare organization in the state of North Carolina, Atrium Health. So Atrium Health had actually reached out to them and asked them, they said, hey, do you have a direct address? And they didn't even know what they were talking about. So they were talking about that. And I said, oh, you're talking about direct secure messaging. And they were like, yes, and it completely changed the entire conversation. It was no longer feeds and speeds and length of term on the lease and what's my click charge going to be. It was, oh, you can have this, we can get this. I sold it for above retail. They're a great customer now, and that's just one of several success stories that I've had.
Yeah, and perfect, Ron. We're seeing more and more of those what we characterize as demand-driven sales opportunities. But we know you have sold others. Are any other customer wins come to mind? Maybe that didn't exactly ask for it, but you were able to help them understand the value of the healthcare MFP?
Yeah, absolutely, Rich. I haven't had any large takedowns yet. Doesn't mean they're not in my pipeline. I'm working on them. But obviously, the majority of my wins have been, anywhere from 1 to 5 units at a time. And they varied. I mean, they've been with behavioral health centers. They've been with physicians groups, both large and small, anesthesiology groups, dermatology groups, a children's medical center. They had purchased 5 from me, and they've got a refresh coming up in about the next 12 months. We'll probably be placing another maybe 15 to 20 into that organization. So, when I'm calling on healthcare accounts, I'm not strictly looking at one particular type of, ambulatory care clinic. It's needed by everybody. So, basically it's just a matter of identifying all the healthcare accounts in my territory and leading with the healthcare MFP. I could talk a little bit more about, how I do that.
Yeah, please expand on that. Let us know if you can share, what are you going to be doing here in the near future, in the near term, based on all this knowledge and understanding and the success you had, how are you approaching that market?
Okay. Yeah. So basically, in my CRM, I've flagged every single one of my healthcare accounts, and I've, organized them by size. So I got, small all the way up to larger organizations. And the one thing that I do, Rich, is, some valuable information that you and Roger had given me is that, we've got a really powerful tool, and that's those YouTube stations with those video clips on the healthcare MFP. Every single healthcare account in my territory is receiving those emails from me, just kind of putting the tickler out there to kind of get them interested. Again, we're not talking feeds and speeds. We're talking about a technology that can help them. So it's been really, I have this. We have a thing called ShowPad, where we can go ahead and send out an email, and you can actually view if the person's opened it up and if they've read it, if they've shared it. And about 25 to 30% of the time, these people are opening it up. They're spending time watching it. Multiple ones have gone back and looked at it again, and it's helped me get some first-in net new appointments, and has led to some net new sales. And we all know net new is where it's at, so that's where we need to be.
Yeah, it's perfect, Ron, and love all of the activity that you do. I think you're spot on everything, and I think 2021 is probably going to be a pretty strong year. So for people who are watching this interview, colleagues of yours, what advice would you give them to go ahead and get started and start achieving the success that you are?
It's a kind of a multi-step approach. I mean, the first thing is just, if I had one piece of advice to really give is, lead with the healthcare MFP on every healthcare sales call. Just don't even make it an option. I mean, you just lead with it. They're in healthcare. They're getting the healthcare MFP that's, engineered for healthcare. And don't talk about it like it's a solution. We've all fall into that trap where we think we need to know every single aspect of the functionality of it. I keep it kind of relative and vague. I let them know what the capabilities are. And I just let them know that, hey, you may not need this, or you may not use it tomorrow, but at some point, fax is going to be, taken out of healthcare. You're not, there's just not going to be a benefit to using it anymore. And, if you're going to invest in technology now, why would you want something that could be antiquated in 6, 12, 18, 24 months? You want to secure yourself with the right technology now. And I always just tell them, when you're ready to use it, you just turn it on and you've got the technology and you're ready to go. So my advice would be to identify the healthcare accounts in your territory, send the videos to get them a little bit interested, then follow up with a request for a meeting. And then when you get into the negotiation process, always lead with the healthcare MFP. Do not make it an option, and don't overwhelm yourself thinking that you have to know every aspect of it. Just, you're in healthcare, you're getting the healthcare MFP.
Just perfect, Ron. It really has been a pleasure working with you. I've known you for a few years now. We love to see the success. We know that the positioning is working really well, and really looking forward to 2021. It's got a very positive outlook, and hoping that we can share the success with you as you continue this incredible journey. So thank you, Ron.
Thanks, Rich. I appreciate it.